Hello, good afternoon everybody. A second short video in as many days. Just about to do a turbo trainer session in my bike room in Bath. I thought I'd update you on an experiment I tried a couple of years back, so just a quick refresh about what that was all about. My bikes, the touring bike I ride and my winter bike is 8-speed. Both my Audax bikes are 9-speed, as is my turbo trainer bike. So a few years back I realised they were starting to be discontinued, and I started buying up as many 8 and 9-speed chains and cassettes as I could find. Most of them off reputable dealers, but as they got harder and harder to find, I started scouring elsewhere, and I found what I thought was some good bargains on eBay. Well, when 2 of the chains came through, they were just cheap Chinese copies, and I felt a bit sort of ripped off and peeved about that. So I gave the seller negative feedback, and lo and behold, they got back to me, offered me a full refund if I'd withdraw the negative feedback. And actually, honesty is really important to me, so I politely declined and just sort of said, no, you keep the money, but you can also keep the negative feedback. And so I had these 2 cheap Chinese chains, wondering what to do with them. And I suddenly thought, hey, I can maybe try them on the turbo trainer, even if they only last 6 months each, that'll save at least 1 chain and cassette. Well, I tried them in September of 2021, and I monitor the wear every now and again. People sort of said to me, really don't try cheap Chinese chains out on the road, they're likely to snap on you. They don't last very long at all. So that's why I tried them on the turbo trainer. So that's been going since September 2021, so that's a year in September, October, November, December, January, a year and what's that, 5 months. So hardly any wear whatsoever, which is not surprising really, because I don't do the sort of mileage or the wear and tear on the turbo trainer as I do out on the road. So that's been quite a successful experiment. So I've got another one, so that's if that lasts as long, that one's not even halfway worn yet. That's been quite a successful experiment. I did go ahead and buy 2 cheap Chinese cassettes to go with that as the experiment. Yesterday I was out on my touring bike just doing some riding, and I had this horrible grinding coming from the front hub. I've ridden through so much water recently, I think all the grease had just been washed out and it sounded like broken glass. It's all coming up through the forks, head tube, stem, handlebars. Anyway, I was in Dursley and I just popped in this bike shop and said to the guy, any chance you could just let me have some oil so I can just pour it into the hubs just to get me home. It was like Chinese torture, it really was. So he went out the back to find me some, and while I was there I noticed he was an official Shimano supplier, and I started just looking through what he had on display, and it turned out he had all these 8-speed and 9-speed chains, 8-speed and 9-speed cassettes. So I could only buy 1 pair yesterday, but he did say he's got plenty in the back. He's beginning to wonder who on earth would ever want them. So I'll be going back there in a few weeks' time and sort of seeing exactly what he's got. I'll probably take a couple of panniers up and see if I can stock up on there. So yesterday just shows you can sometimes turn a setback into advantage. Oh yeah, and it did get me home. It didn't eliminate the horrible noise altogether, but it certainly reduced it, subdued it a little bit. And then today I've just taken that wheel out, stripped it all down, re-greased it. It seems to be running fine. A bike ride tomorrow should prove it one way or the other whether that's been successful. But anyway, I better stop waffling and get on my turbo trainer and do my session.